All right, it is time for the Game Day Huddle. I'm Toy Expert Steve, of course. Jay Up is here, and no Godfather today.
No Godfather. Maybe he does. I don't think he's going to, but maybe he drops in. Rumor I heard, and this is strictly a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, but he saw that I won our Kenny Pickett wager, who steps on the field first, and he completely ducked out of the entire podcast. Hopefully that's not true, but we'll see.
I heard that was the reason. I don't know if that's facts, but I do know that was the reason. But no, Jimmy is actually at the Pickett Industry Summit. He is out and about with that, talking to the heads of the industry, and also was presenting at one of the panels. So we hope he had a good time. We hope he enjoyed it. Now, we kicked off the card show this weekend at the Pickett Industry Summit. It was 2 days. We were there, and just a lot of buzz in the room about where the hobby's going, specifically with Panini, and not having their calendar updated on releases. A lot of people are hoping that they're going to get an answer to that this week. We don't know if we're going to see it or not. We hope so. We'll find out.
Wouldn't this be the time to do it, you'd think?
Well, and we thought today was going to be the announcement because Fanatics had a big like opening that they were doing. Johnny Bench with the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be getting after that. And really today, no news. So once we have news on it, we'll definitely make sure that we come back and give a little bit of information, whatever we have and whatever we find. But
was it an open bar? Was it open bar at that or no?
It was on Saturday night.
I hung out with Johnny Bench one time during an open bar, and the dude can put some back. He's a fun guy. He's actually pretty fun. I liked hanging out with him.
So Johnny Bench actually signed autographs on Saturday, and then he was keynote speaker this morning. Andre Dawson was also out at the show too, which is real cool. Big hog walking around.
Yeah.
He was in an Arizona Diamondbacks hat, which is pretty cool.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, because I didn't expect to see the Big Hawk in that.
No.
But he was. So, we had that event go on. We hosted a trade night on Thursday. Really kind of a unique, fun experience. That was really cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was really neat. It was at Walk-Ons in the Harrah's, which is actually a franchise that was founded partially by Drew Brees.
Oh.
So a pretty cool concept. But basically a bunch of guys that were Walk-Ons places got together and made a restaurant.
That's great.
So we hosted it there. I'm sure we'll do some more events with Walk-Ons. We look forward to doing that and thank them, real quick.
Yeah, shout out.
If you get a chance, you're at Harrah's sometime, stop by. Good food. Very good food.
Was it?
Yeah.
And it's right there on the strip, too. So even if you're not staying at Harrah's, you can still stop by and just grab a quick bite.
Exactly. Nice Southern hospitality. It was really nice. And nice Southern food. So that was good. So we did that trade night. But coming up this week, the Las Vegas Card Show this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Expo at the World Market Center here in Las Vegas. We are hosting 2 trade nights. And the first one we're real excited about. We're partnering with our friends from Darkside 702 Cards. And, of course, we want to thank our friends at Ludix for sponsoring all of the trade nights. But Thursday night, we will be at Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue, 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
You can come down. It is free to attend. Come out, have some barbecue, hang out, have a fun trade night. We'll be upstairs, we'll be downstairs. And rumor has it, Chum Lee may make an appearance at the trade night with us. Pending flights, so we'll find out. He should be back in town.
If he shows, he may participate in trades, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
He does collect also.
Yeah, so he's a Pokemon collector and
Yeah.
definitely into it. Chum is definitely going to be there. And then they may or may not have the candy store open too, which is Chum Lee's Candy on the Boulevard.
Nice.
So shout out to Rick Harrison, the whole Pawn Stars crew, and of course Chum Lee. But Rick opening up the doors of Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue for us to go have trade night at. What a fun local way to go. They're very fun in the concept of, local trade night. We've got local partners working with us on it. All of those things, which I think is just great.
Yeah.
So, Darkside again getting involved, 702 Cards, Neil. So, awesome to see, and we're excited about that. And then Friday night's the big boy. That is Las Vegas Card Show at the Expo at the World Market Center, 16 floors up, looking into downtown Las Vegas, over 100 tables for trading. And if you're a VIP to the show, you get an hour early entry, so you can select a table, and you get free food. So you get to eat before the trade night. Trade night kicks off, 7:30 it comes in. We got all kinds of activations. We got our friends at 777 Breaks that'll be providing a DJ outside, plus they'll have the golf simulator. We'll have music inside. We'll have fun activations. And, of course, the Ludex app. You'll want to download it and have it because our friends at Cash Cards providing all of our giveaways. If you have the Ludex app, you have a chance to win. So make sure you have the app.
How do you not download that?
Exactly.
How do you not download? And you're gonna have a hell of a view out there too, by the way.
Oh, unbelievable!
Because it's gonna be at night.
Beautiful.
So you're gonna see all that neon. It's gonna be great.
It's
gonna be a good time.
16,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time.
So it'll be a good time. So trade nights this weekend. Make sure you guys make it out. All right. You know what it is? It's time for us to overreact or talk about being underwhelmed. It is that time of the program to start talking about this week's NFL. Now, before we get too deep into it, let's touch base really quick. Scary scene Thursday night. Thursday Night Football was a really exciting matchup. We were really, really posed for like a good matchup.
With the all white out with the Bengal Tigers.
Yes.
Like everyone was hyped for it too.
We did. Bengals unveiled the beautiful New jerseys, painted the field to match, which was great. Dolphins came in, and Dolphins came out looking good.
And it was Burrow versus Tua. Like we talk about this 2020 class, and you got the two of the best guys. Like obviously Herbert, not included in that, but Burrow versus Tua, like who wouldn't want to see that? Especially Thursday night. And they've gotten better since they've been on Amazon Prime. The games have gotten better.
And we wanted to see that. We were excited about it. Unfortunately, there was a scary scene the week before. Tua gets tossed back, gets up from a hard hit, and it was a dirty hit, Bills. I'm going to continue to say it was a dirty hit. Gets up, stumbles to one knee, comes back, leaves the game for a minute, comes back, finishes out the game. Questions during the week whether they followed the correct protocol or not. We're not sure. Thursday, falls back. I don't think this was a dirty play. This was a clean play. Just happened to be that he went with his hands up as he landed, which caused his head to not have any cushion. Snapped the back of his head, and he was seen with the scary scene of laying with his hands inverted. Now, I talked to a couple people that are aware of the CTE damage that could occur, and that's actually very common apparently with blows to the back of the head. From what I've read, apparently it's something to do, which is why UFC doesn't allow you to strike to the back of the head, because that is an indication of your body saying that there's some type of damage to neurologically.
Wow.
So that reaction is, and if your hands are out extroverted, then it has to do with your heart. So if it's in, it's supposed to be something neurologically. Out, it's supposed to be something with the heart. Never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
And so that is a common thing to happen in that circumstance.
That
which
was
is
scary
why
to see that too.
Scary for us. Medical professionals say it's a faster indication to find out it's your body's indication to find out what's going on. It's tough to see. Tua's not going to play this week.
Yeah, he's out.
He is hurt. Teddy Bridgewater is scheduled to be the starter.
Yep.
That has already been announced. So Tua's out. And right now the discussions are Tua's out multiple weeks from what it sounds like. They're saying upwards of potentially 6 weeks.
Yeah, they haven't announced exactly how long, but they already ruled him out for just this week. So you're going to hear something in the next few days on exactly how long he's going to miss. Because if it's a short-term IR stint, they can put him on the IR and miss 4 weeks, or at least 4 weeks if they put him in IR. He could miss up to 6 weeks, like you said, but we'll find out within the next probably few days, I think.
I think they're going to have to put him out for a couple of weeks. The doctor that evaluated Tua on the Sunday injury before the Thursday game, that doctor was relieved of his duties by the Players Association.
Yeah.
And now you have a lot of teams. I read there was 14 players that went into protocol on Sunday that were into the extended concussion protocol that has now been added already, that the NFL's added. With this week, them elevating that even more. So supposedly there's some more additional precautions and things that they're supposed to do this week. The NFL is definitely not willing to mess around with this. And, I mean, let's be fair. I think that the Players Association going ahead and relieving him of his duties, you can probably guess that there's also a lawsuit and some other stuff coming along with
lawsuit
this.
will probably follow. Yeah, the way that kind of works too is that, like, obviously the NFL's in it for the money, but they want that you got to get that player safety in there, because if you don't, then you're not going to have a product. You're not going to have, you know what I mean? Like these guys' health depends on what they're doing out there, and the fact that we went back and watched that clip too. And the way Tua got up and he was kind of wobbly, and then for the Dolphins to come back and say that it was back. It was his back. I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor, nor do I claim to be, but like he seemed like he was a little off.
Yeah, well, I heard an interview.
He wasn't there.
I heard an interview with Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison talked about how you lied about injuries all the time.
Yeah,
he said you lied all the time about being hurt.
Because you don't want to get taken out of the game.
Right. You don't want to be taken out of the game. At the end of the day, that's your goal. You want to stay in there. Unfortunately, though, to the common person, that injury was scary enough. We all knew it shouldn't have happened, and so I think that's the problem, is that it was too easy for the common person,
right,
not a doctor, to be able to look at that and see the evaluation.
And the thing that also sucks is that why they don't want to come out of the game too is not just because they're champions out there. They're willing to risk their bodies.
Right.
But a lot of these guys have incentives in their contracts.
100%.
And that is a deciding factor as well, because these guys want to get paid, and I don't blame them. Like, they're banging their heads every other play. Like, I don't blame them for wanting to get paid. So they sometimes have these incentives in their contract, and that's why they don't want to come out of the game. And I don't fault them for that.
And that's the fact. And I mean, it's going to continue. You're going to continue to have guys that get injured. You're going to have guys that are going to have things happen. It's a violent sport. You're never going to get everything wrapped up, right? But at the end of the day, I do think that being smart about it, being able to make the right decisions, whatever it might be, I think that is incredibly important. And when it comes down to it, you're going to have to make sure that you take care of the players. They're the money, right?
Right.
They're the reason that there's a
league in the
product
first
on the
place.
field in
Yep.
the league. So, unfortunately, it's a scary moment. We hate to see it. Now, injuries have really kind of made their way into the NFL this year at kind of an alarming rate when you think about it, right? You've got quarterbacks hurt all over the place, running backs hurt all over the place, wide receivers hurt all over the place, and we'll talk about a little bit of that when we get into the fantasy portion. But one of them we have to talk about was the injury to Mac Jones last week. Ankle injury, he goes down. Brian Hoyer starts the game. I don't know if Hoyer looked good. I wouldn't say he looked good.
No.
But he wasn't being reckless. He wasn't being reckless. Hoyer's never been known to that, but he also is not going to go out and win you a game.
Right.
He's going to keep you from losing it, but not necessarily win it. They say game manager, and I don't even want to give him a game manager title. However,
maybe years ago.
Yeah,
years ago.
But
he's 35-ish, 36 years old, so I wouldn't say that now.
Honestly, guys, you don't realize it. He's on the roster as another coach.
Yeah, that's really exactly what he is. He's out there to be basically like a leader. Basically, he's there to kind of mentor Mac Jones, and Bailey Zappi. Yeah, that's what he's out there for. He's not out there to go and win you a Super Bowl.
Bailey Zappi got on the field, made his NFL appearance this year. Bailey Zappi got out there. I watched this kid during the preseason, and I kind of had some takes on him. You can go back and actually look at it in previous shows when we talked about it. That I thought Bailey Zappi had a little bit of a chance. I thought he was pretty good. In fact,
we talked about it.
I've been calling all season for the chaos to happen in New England, where I wanted there to be a little bit of a quarterback controversy, only because I do think that Mac Jones probably played above the pay grade last year. Right? I think that he really did. He got a lot of credit for stuff.
He was the first round pick, and he was the big name, and they were actually winning games. And so, that's the recipe for success. And that's what everybody sees.
Right.
And so, of course, all of his stuff, including his cards, just skyrocketed because they were winning games, they were playing well, and he was the quarterback. Everyone's looking to replace Tom Brady and what Tom Brady was in New England because they had that, division where Tom Brady left and Bill Belichick stayed. And so everyone wants to prove like it's their guy. And it's like, Bill Belichick still got it. He's going to take Mac Jones and turn him into the next Tom Brady. Right. So that was like the flavor of the week.
And, and unfortunately that happens, especially in the hobby, right?
Yeah.
In the hobby that happens. And when it does, it kind of creates false narratives into the values of what cards are or what they might be.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else is out last year. And you'll remember this conversation. Everybody's going Mac Jones crazy, and I was sitting over there going, time to buy Tua, time to buy Lamar,
Davis Mills,
time to buy Davis Mills,
yeah,
time to buy Jalen Hurts. All these guys you could have got for fractions.
Dude, it was going
pennies
nuts,
on the dollar.
It was going nuts,
right?
With Mac Jones, and we kept talking about it, and then you and I even talked about it right around the time of the draft with Bailey Zappi, because I was going through all my dynasty drafts, and I was grabbing him wherever I could in the late rounds. I was like, I'll get this guy a flyer. Why not? And then come to find out that all these guys that got taken, right? And let's face it wasn't a bunch of star-studded quarterbacks that got taken in this draft. Malik Willis, Ritter, Kenny Pickett.
Where did he go? Was it Western Kentucky or something like that?
It was some small school. He's from a small town in Texas, too, they were saying. But the best part about it is watching the game, and when the announcer said he was the first quarterback from the 2021 draft or 2022 draft that threw a touchdown pass. Did you know that?
I did
Kenny
not.
Pickett had come in the game and ran
rushed.
2.
Yep.
He ran 2. Malik Willis has gotten a little bit of time.
Yep.
That was the other quarterback that's played in an NFL game in a regular season. Kenny Pickett's rushed for 2 touchdowns earlier in the day. Zappy comes in the afternoon. He's the first rookie quarterback to throw a touchdown this year.
You know, in the preseason, he looked really good. I thought he was a solid player. I thought he had an opportunity. And to me, the late round quarterbacks this year really didn't matter, because what that tells me, a late round quarterback, I mean, Russell Wilson was a second rounder, right? Mm-hmm. Like, when you start getting into these late round quarterbacks, they're diamonds in the rough. Mm-hmm. They're guys that maybe there's a chance. Right?
And we'll see what we got out of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen wasn't the number 1 overall pick in his draft class, guys. Don't forget that. He was not. In fact, there was a ton of knocks on him. He was really inaccurate.
Jackson was like the 5th quarterback taken in that
He
draft.
was. I remember the Chargers almost taking him and passing on him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, guys, you know, when you think about this stuff, like, a lot of times these things happen. This could be that opportunity. Now, rumor mill, again, we don't know Belichick. You don't know how he thinks. Right. He might start a running back at quarterback next week. Who knows? What we do know is that there's discussion saying that apparently Robert Kraft championed for Zappy to start this game and not Hoyer. So probably a good indication Zappy will probably start this next week.
Zappy's starting for sure because Hoyer is going to be in the concussion protocol.
So he's in concussion protocol because when I came in this morning, it's still hadn't been determined.
Yeah.
So then Zappy's starting.
Zappy's starting because Mac Jones is going to miss, they said, at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So Zappy's getting the start.
So he's probably getting 2 more starts at least, plus the gameplay that he already had.
And did you see his touchdown pass to Devontae Parker?
It was very nice.
Did you happen to see the time clock when he threw it?
I didn't know.
Okay, the time clock had expired. So it should have been a flag for delay of game. They didn't call it. And then they went to break, and then when they came back from break, you could see the 2 umpires talking, the two referees talking to each other. And the one referee who was the back judge, who's supposed to be watching the clock, said he raised his hand to reset the clock. But the other referee was like, "Why would you do that? There was no play. Why would you reset the clock?" So there was a miscommunication there, but it was 2 seconds.
2 seconds
after the clocks hit 0, when he hiked the ball, no flag, touchdown pass to Devontae Parker for his first touchdown.
Well, that's
it's unfortunate, but it happened.
We've seen some NFL blunders in the zebra stripes this year.
Yeah,
and we'll find out.
Yeah,
we mentioned it before, but Kenny Pickett's made his debut. He made it into the game. It was not injury related. He was actually in the game as a replacement for Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky was at about 80 yards passing, was incredibly inaccurate throwing the ball behind guys, would immediately run for no reason. He was seeing ghosts. That's usually the indication that a guy is probably over his head there.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin came out after the game, made the comment that he's not going to say that Kenny Pickett's a starter. He's not going to do this. All that is gamesmanship.
I don't believe anything he says anyways, because 2 weeks ago he just said that he was going to sit Kenny Pickett for the entire year no matter what.
Right.
So I take what he says with a grain of salt.
And did you and so the report is Trubisky's apparently a little upset because at halftime when they made the change, Tomlin came over to his locker and he just said 8 is in and walked off. That is it. No explanation, no discussion, purely it. So what I'm going to tell you is this.
He could be upset. Who
Tomlin got a call from upstairs
that
said, that's not the product we're putting on the field, and that's not going to happen. Tomlin was mad that he had to make the decision and then reported it, and then there you go. I would think Tuesday, media day, that we're probably going to find out a little bit more into this. But you can bet that Kenny Pickett's will be the starter, and I think he's the starter moving forward.
I think so too.
And he looked pretty good. He made this throw.
Got to tip your hat for them having a strong game today.
Here's a 3rd and 4. Pickett throwing, sideline, back shoulder. Catch is made. Is it inbounds? It is.
Pickett to Pickens. Great throw on the back shoulder, outside the hash marks, like where he should put it, right on the sideline, only where his receiver can get it. And obviously that shows that those guys both have a little bit of chemistry, probably kind of took it to heart a little bit to each one of them to spend a little time throwing the ball or whatever it is.
I love the fact too, because he came in and he gave the Steelers a shot in the arm, which is what they needed because they weren't playing well in the first half.
And they took the lead
early. Yeah,
they took the
lead with him, and in true rookie form, though, he did have 3 interceptions.
He did.
So he's not perfect. He's going to have those growing pains as a rookie, and the Steelers fans, I think they're going to be a little more lenient with him. More than they were with Trubisky, knowing that he's supposedly
the first interception wasn't his fault. He put the ball where he was supposed to.
Right.
And just, it bounced off of the hands.
I don't think those should be counted towards the quarterback. If you throw it to the receiver and it hits his hands and it bounces up in the air, that shouldn't go against the quarterback. Yeah. They should get minus points for the receiver.
Yeah, I agree, and unfortunately that was the case. But he's an exciting player. He creates some difference in their offense for sure. He scored the 2 rushing touchdowns, which was big. And once that happened, though, I'm also going to give a little credit to Zach Wilson, who was back in there after the injury, right?
He looked good.
Zach looked good, but he really turned it on in the fourth quarter, like almost as if to say, wait, this kid's still in my thunder, like whatever it is. I don't know if he flipped a switch or whatever it is, and maybe he needed a chip on his shoulder and he got it.
He did, and I think going forward he needs to play like that though too.
I 100% agree. It needs to not be a switch he turns on. That needs to be on the entire time. Zach Wilson played well, but apparently before the game, Mike Tomlin gave his entire team some Nikes.
Yes.
So he reached out, gave him some Nikes. I don't even know what shoe it was exactly.
They were black Nike Air Force Ones.
Oh, that's right. And the whole team's narrative before the game, apparently they were telling the media there locally, was they were talking about these shoes. Mm-hmm. And in true amazing Twitter fashion, the Jets had a post about it. And they popped up. This tweet came up with the shoes, the score of the game, and got him.
I love it.
You know what? I love when teams troll. I really do. I love when teams troll. I think it's a lot of fun. There was a lot of really great trolls this week in the NFL. Teams really calling out other teams for things that they did or didn't do.
So to touch on this, right, because I want to do a little bit of digging because we obviously saw it was a great troll, right? So I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't knock sneakerheads, but I'm not a sneakerhead. So I had to look this up to see what this actually meant. And there's a little quick snippet. I'll read it from a sneakerhead magazine. It says, a person that purposely purchases these particular shoes in person cannot be trusted. You have to immediately question their motives. These folks have no regard for your safety or their own. These types are hard to trust. They're the ones that you would want on your team because you would rather not play against them. So basically what Tomlin was doing is he's making sure that people understand that the Steelers are not a team that you want to mess with by doing this. So that's the message he was trying to send, is that we're a team that you don't want to mess with. So by the Jets going in and beating them, that's why they said got him.
Got him.
So that's exactly what it stands for.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly what it stands for. Oh,
that's hilarious.
Could have been The Godfather because he's out there thinking.
Yeah, it wasn't The Godfather, but apparently it was something to do with.
So yeah, that has something to do with the sneakerhead culture, which I didn't know until I read it. But we're a team you don't mess with, and then the Jets go out there and beat them anyways. And the Jets said, "Hey, here you go. We're gonna troll you now."
Well, that's exactly it. And again, Zach Wilson played well. Garrett Wilson looks amazing. Breece Hall looked good on the ground. Yeah. That team's got some gusto. I don't know if it's a playoff team, but it could be a team that could be messing with people that are playoff teams.
Yeah.
And or they could be one of those teams that is one of the last ones in. And I don't know if that happens, they could do one of those Joe Burrow-esque runs last year or something like that. If the team, I'm not saying the team's that good in general, I'm saying that if they get in and don't know they're supposed to be there, they could be a team that could mess with some teams in the playoffs just because as they get better, their confidence is going to rise, and that could turn out. And if Zach Wilson can turn that switch on and leave it on, we might see a little bit different from him.
And see, I think they're still maybe a year away from being really good. I liken them to like this year's Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a team that's they're not supposed to be good yet, but you don't want to play them in the last couple of weeks of the season to ruin your playoff chances. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to play Jacksonville just because you're not sure what you're going to get. I think that the Jets are going to be that type of team too. Not something that you're used to steamrolling the Jets. Like, we got the Jets in week 15, we're just going to steamroll them. Now you're like, oh, we got the Jets in Week 15. Let's make sure we take this game seriously because they could surprise you.
Well, and talk about T-Law and the Jags for a minute. Looked good on Sunday.
Damn it, the first quarter. They're up 14-0.
Cannot. Their defense is not clicking yet. They've got a bunch of young guys that are out of position. They're making the wrong cut or getting picked, right?
See, I don't want to even
like
blame
that.
the defense that much because the 3 fumbles by Lawrence.
That doesn't help.
I give it to the Eagles defense because we knew the Eagles defense was supposed to be good. Week 1, they got trampled. Even though they won the game, they gave up like 35 points to the Lions, which was like, wow, like maybe they're not that good. But the Eagles defense was supposed to be good. So the 3 strip sacks didn't help Lawrence whatsoever.
No.
And that's going to put your defense in a spot to where they have to play longer. They're getting tired.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, it goes a different way if those are just sacks and not fumbles.
Well, so put it in perspective. First of all, the Lions are the number 1 offense in the NFL right now, and they were the number 1 offense in the NFL this week.
Yeah.
With that, so with all the injuries, all the people, all the stuff that were gone, they were the number 1.
This is perfect time. We were just talking about Kenny Pickett.
Here, take a seat. Join Jay up right there. Slide on over.
This is what's going to happen already. See, boys? The money's already getting paid out. Right.
Here we go.
Slide on over there.
Damn.
Godfather made it back from the industry summit. We'll before we get into any more NFL real quick, how was your morning?
Oh, well, so we all get there because everybody has been looking at the schedule for months because we've all kind of assumed something was going down. And so I've never seen this many people at a summit in my life. It was packed. The room was packed. Everybody who was anybody was there, and they ended up putting up somebody from Fanatics memorabilia instead. And he gets up there and he says, unfortunately, we had a different thing planned for right now, but legal put a squash to that because obviously it's because the deal isn't finalized with Panini. So everybody knows the writing's on the wall. It's going to happen. When's it going to happen? Once they get it finalized. They were supposed to announce it to all the card shop owners at the summit. It didn't happen, so we all were left.
We
waiting.
thought we'd hear that, and then there wasn't really any news from today.
No.
Just sounds like kind of stagnant, which I think is going to tick off some of the hobbyists, especially when you get on that investing side, because guys are really kind of like afraid what's going on. There's no Panini schedule out, this stuff. So we had hoped to hear something, and maybe still in the next coming of days, you could see something snuck in. You still got, 2 more days of Summit? So
there'll be 2 more days all the way until Wednesday. There's no more Fanatics on the schedules from here on out. That's not to say that something doesn't happen.
Right.
Because, things happen overnight in the meat hours of the morning that somebody signs something and stuff goes down.
Right.
But thoughts are it's going to happen. When is it going to happen? Everybody that was anybody in the card industry was there. They're all talking because everybody wants to get in on that Fanatics train. And they basically gave an email to a guy and said, hey, if you're looking to get product from Fanatics, this is the guy. So I guarantee his inbox just got flooded by about 900 emails. And he's probably like, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Although, at least that's the first time we've had that, right? That any of the shop owners have gotten a lead to Fanatics of this is the guy that you're going to initiate the conversation
And they
with.
gave a separate guy for just breakers. So me being me, I emailed both of them.
Of course, because you're shop and breaker.
Just to see what we can get. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Like a lot of people in the hobby and talking to a lot of the other owners at the summit are kind of down and out. And I built this business on this, and I was getting allocations from these people, and now they're going to cut them off. And it is what it is. For me, like we've always been a brand in a business that we just adapt. Whatever happens, whatever's thrown away, whether it be an employee stealing from us or something else, we adapt and we move forward and we trek on and we figure out a way to make it successful and work for us. So that's what we're going to do. So when Fanatics rolls out and says, we now own Topps, we now own Panini, we're the GOATs, come see us, we're going to come knocking on the door and we're going to make it work.
And that's the way it has to be. That's just it is what it is. Like, nothing you can change about it.
And you can't get upset. Like, guys are literally throwing up their arms, and like breakers that are there, like so pissed off. One guy was yelling bullshit in the crowd. It's like, I get it, bro. Like, I started this business in 2015 as well with you. You know, I spend over $2 million with distributors every single year.
Yep.
And all that money is now just going to be gone, that I just wasted all my time
that you
buying.
put in the effort and time. Because a lot of people, if you're kind of new to the sports card industry, you have to understand that, like, you have to buy a ton of stuff you don't really want,
right,
to build up the ability to be able to get more of the stuff that does well for you.
Right.
And so a lot of times you're losing here to take. And that happens, and when you build those allocations and you take the time to do it, and then
when the market was good, it was great. Everybody was happy because you would get this product, it would sell for 4 or 5 times X what you're buying it for from allocations, and everybody was happy. But guess what? Those times are changed because Fanatics is not going to let me, as a card shop owner, make 5X on a product.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. They'll let me make my 30-40%, but they're not going to let me make 5X anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just have to adjust. Now we have to be a better businessman, a better business model, and figure it out.
Exactly. Well, we will see if there's more. And again, if we do have more information from the summit this week, we'll definitely get that, guys, to you and let you guys know. Getting back in the NFL, this was an interesting tweet that went up this morning. J.J. Watt posted, I was just told someone leaked some personal information about me, and it's going to be reported on today. I went into AFib on Wednesday, had my heart shocked back into rhythm on Thursday, and I'm playing this weekend, and that's it. So I looked into this, come to find out that it's pretty common if you go into AFib, and if you're don't know what AFib is, your heartbeat is irregular, and basically the top valves and the bottom valves of your heart are kind of not working in rhythm together. Mm-hmm. This happens a lot of times. People being shocked back into, defibrillation the way it's supposed to be is basically by a pacemaker or something to that extent. Or they'll go in when they put a pacemaker on a heart. Someone has a heart problem. But athletes do this. A lot of times, though, they're training or something, and it might take a couple days. They can take some medication that'll help with it or whatever it is. In the case of him, it's pretty common practice, I guess, to go ahead and do these little shocks and kind of put it back into rhythm. That's all it was. It really is not supposed to be anything to be scared about. However, it does make you worry about him. He's an older guy, older player. And unfortunately on this, you saw a lot of the trolls. Well, is it steroid related? Is it this? Is it that? That's the world we're in. Everybody's a keyboard warrior and wants to say that stuff. We don't know where he's at. We know he's played at a high level for a long time.
Yeah.
And can be scary. And I just kind of, I thought that was an interesting thing that, like, we're in a day and age now where the player can now squash the info coming out before it does.
He can be the source.
And I actually loved that he did that.
Right.
I thought it was great.
Because you want to beat somebody else with a punch who's going to go out there and just run their mouth, and then you're going to get 9 million.
Instead of giving that guy the opportunity to break the story,
right,
he probably doesn't like that guy very much.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
So
or he was probably promised that nothing was going to be said, and then it was.
Yep.
And that in the media world, that can cause a huge rift.
It's a great day for athletes, for even us. As you can own your own stories.
Yeah.
Before you weren't able to own your own stories, and everything would come out in the public, and then you would have to kind of backpedal and try to fill in. No, that's not what happened. This is what happened.
Right.
So it's good for us. It's good for celebrities and athletes. Good. Own your stuff. Get it out there. Let people know it. Don't try to hide it. And this day and age in modern medicine, it seems like it's like a routine procedure. He went in there, he got fixed up, and good. Thank goodness. Glad that you can fix it, and he's not sitting there and dies on the field because he has a bad heart. And as far as the steroid use, the guy's 6'5"?
I know.
Come on. Really?
Exactly.
He's already 6'5", been 200 pounds since he's in 8th grade. You think he's been using steroids his whole life? No, people that are bigger have heart problems. That's just the way it is. If you're big, 6 foot above 6, I don't ever have to worry about that being 5'8". My heart's very condensed. But guys like Steve, that's 6'3", 200 plus pounds. Guess what? You have to worry about your heart. That's what you have to do.
Exactly.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And there was a lot of backlash coming out of Kyler Murray again. And he kind of played the wild Kyler Murray video game quarterback game again. You don't know if this guy's running off script or they're letting him do this. We don't know. Apparently, he doesn't study the playbook, so I'm guessing that they're probably just letting him do whatever he wants.
All of a sudden, that knock about him not do the. Remember, they put that in his contract and had to take it out because of the wording. How long until Cliff Kingsbury gets fired? Do you think? I know they won the game yesterday against Carolina, but you can tell there's like animosity between the two. They had to call timeout late because the play didn't get in fast enough, and Kyler was throwing a little tantrum.
The offense is not in rhythm for sure.
No.
But to be fair to him, look at the weapons they have on that offense. There's nobody.
Greg Dortch.
I mean,
like I said,
Zach Ertz is the only player,
and he's past his. He's past his.
And
prime.
he's the only guy.
So
that's
to be
playing,
fair to Kyler Murray, when he had the weapons of Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins and all those guys, he has weapons. He can make plays. Right now, he probably does feel like
even Rondale Moore's hurt, and
Rondale Moore was back yesterday, and AJ Green wasn't.
But is he healthy? I don't think he's healthy.
I mean,
he's back on the field.
He's back on the field.
Right.
It's another weapon. I just don't understand why they put a bunch of little small guys with him, knowing that he's a small guy. It just the recipe for me. Like you go out and you get Marquise Brown, right, which was his college teammate, and the guy's a stud. I'm not saying he's not, but he's like a shorter receiver. So you don't have any receivers over 6 feet because AJ Green's out and DeAndre Hopkins is out. So you have Greg Dortch, who's like 5'7". You have Marquise Brown, who's under 6 foot, and you have Rondale Moore, who's like 5'8". Who in the hell is he? He's got to see over the linemen. And then drop in dimes of the shorter receivers.
6'2", 6'3" cornerbacks.
It
makes zero sense.
I don't know. We'll see. And again, Kingsbury, I think he's one of the coaches that's kind of being discussed. Obviously, in Denver, they're going to be discussing that quarter. I'm surprised it didn't happen this morning. I really am. I don't know. I said it last week, and I've said it the week before. Obviously, I'm a huge hater, but there's no reason that guy should be coaching an NFL team.
You knew the Raiders were going to win this week, though, did you not?
100%.
The minus 2.5 seemed like the easiest money in the world.
Yeah.
Minus 2.5, I was like, come on. You know damn well the Raiders are going to win this game. I still think Denver finishes in last place. The Raiders could easily be 3-1 if a couple of things go their way in their first 2 games.
The Raiders are 2 or 3 possessions away from being 3-1 or maybe even undefeated.
Denver should be last place, and now Denver loses Javonte Williams for the whole year too. So that's another knock on them.
Exactly. So because of that, you've got that that situation with the Broncos, and we'll see. It doesn't look to me like a team that's being commanded by the quarterback. It looks to me like they're trying to create an identity of something they're not sure what it is.
Right.
And now Javonte Williams is hurt. He's out for the year, tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. He's done, so we'll see what happens. The game of the day was probably over in London, the Saints and the Vikings.
I thought you were going to say the Cowboys and Commanders, but go ahead.
No, it came down to the kicks, right? Came down to the kicks.
3-0.
Hold on, we're getting there. Came down to the kicks, and they attempted a 60-yarder, and it was not enough distance to just hit the upright. And then hit the crossbar, and then didn't get in. After kicking a 60-yarder to tie the game. Although I will say, at the end of the game, I felt like the Vikings did what they could to try to lose the game.
Yeah,
they really did, and it was.
Isn't it the Vikings' motto though? Find a way to lose.
Find a way in, but. They should play overseas because apparently they're 3-0 overseas, so they should probably just move over.
No
there.
pressure on Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not national television. It's because it's early in the morning.
It's early enough in the morning.
But I felt bad because they couldn't run the ball against the Saints. But I felt bad because if you're out there and you're in London waiting for this game, right, and you bought your tickets early, you know it's a sold-out game, and then right before the game you find out that Alvin Kamara's out and Michael Thomas is out. So now 2 of their biggest players on the team, you're not going to see. And then you also get Jarvis Landry, who's like at 70% maybe if you're lucky. So that leaves you with one guy, which is Chris Olave, which obviously they're going to put their best corner on and pretty much shut him down for a majority of the game. I don't know. It sucks. It sucks buying a ticket like that to a game and then you don't see any of the stars play.
I will say Andy Dalton did enough to keep the team competitive in the game. I thought that he played pretty well considering. To me, I thought that he played better than Jameis Winston does. I don't know what that becomes when Winston comes back. Winston probably starts, but I think if he stumbles at all, Andy Dalton may rein that up the rest of the year. Who knows?
I'm just glad that Winston did not play that game because the Saints are not going. The Saints are not going to the Super Bowl.
Well, you liking it took you out of your bet.
Yes, I'm so glad I put that clause in there.
You did. You absolutely took the cop out, and you did. All right, you mentioned Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush says hello to everybody, and Cooper definitely getting it done. So he's 3-0 now. Woo. Cooper Rush now 3-0, and let's
controversy.
Talk about,
can we say controversy?
You know what?
Fever.
Well,
it's controversy.
I think it
time.
is, and the thing is that the things that are being pointed out is that offense is no different when he's commanding it from when Dak's commanding it. And if that's the case, and that guy was one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, you have to question that. You do. Whether Dak comes back and it's his job and we don't see Cooper Rush the end of the year, we'll tell you this, Cooper Rush isn't going to get re-signed off of being released off someone's roster next year. Someone who needs a quarterback is definitely signing him. He's definitely earned himself some money.
You want my take on this?
Sure.
Okay, so here's my take
Dallas
on this.
fan.
Watching Dak play that first game and how horrible he looked, I really think something was wrong with his hand before he got hit and they said it broke or whatever. Something was clearly wrong with his grip, because when you go back and watch that game, that first week, he was missing CeeDee Lamb like 4 feet over his head. He was bouncing the ball to Pollard. Like, he wasn't even close. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, he looks like shit. He looked terrible. He was not healthy.
Right.
And I don't know what it was, but then all of a sudden his hand came up as broken or whatever. So something was wrong with his grip before he broke it. My personal opinion is all this does is buy more time for Dak to rest until he's 100%.
Well,
I don't want him on the field until he can grip the ball 100%. Not 80 or 85, 100%.
Well, and you already have amassed the number of wins that you thought if you got those would be great while Dak is out.
Right.
So I think you're okay at this point.
Well, they got the Rams this week, right?
The Rams.
Yeah.
The
Rams, and I think the Eagles are after that. I think it's Rams and then
the
Eagles.
If anything, you want Dak to be healthy for that Eagles game, because that's going to be a massive game.
Yeah.
You're going to have the two top teams in the division going at it. My take on this whole thing is Dallas is a running team. They have two really good running backs.
They do.
Yeah.
So putting Cooper Rush into that position doesn't allow them to throw the ball. It doesn't give Boise's finest the option to actually coach this team into losing a game, because that's what he does. He coaches that offense into losing games. If you just hand the ball off to Zeke, then you hand it off to Pollard, you hand it off to Zeke, you hand it off to Pollard, when they're averaging 6 to 7 yards a rush, how can you go wrong?
Why are you throwing it?
Don't ever throw it. And they don't have to worry about that when Cooper Rush is in there. Okay, on 3rd and 4, let him drop back, play action. Oh, why don't the guy down the middle? Why? Because you're hammering the run the whole game. Mm-hmm. That's what they did against the Giants. That's what they did again just this last week against the Commanders. They're running the ball, and that's what gets in their wins.
And their defense is playing out of their mind.
Well, their defense was good last year. Nobody said
their defense has been decent. And they've got some guys that were like cast-offs from other teams
run against them.
that were good, that just needed to be put in a position, and they're... Jerry puts guys on curfew. He drives them to and from where they're coming from. He doesn't let them go out of... that has been one of the things with Dallas. That's why they've had some discipline on some of the wild card players that they've taken. Speaking of, since you mentioned the division and coming up, Giants got some problems there. Giants are down 2 quarterbacks, not 1. We don't know what's happened with Danny Dimes.
Bring on Saquon, baby.
and Saquon QB1. But no, seriously, Saquon Barkley in the Wildcat. Danny Dimes was out there just as a decoy. Apparently they were doing that because Danny Dimes' helmet could take the play in, so they needed him to call the play in the huddle. Yeah. So that's why he was even on the field.
Had the green dot?
Yeah, so he was on the field for that, so that was the reason for it. If it's a high ankle sprain and he's out multiple weeks, they're scrambling. I'm guessing at this point, the Eagles got a call and said no because they're in division. So the Eagles aren't giving up Minshew. So I'm guessing they had to call the Seahawks and ask about Drew Lock. That's kind of the move, right?
Right now, who's in line to start is Davis Webb. That's the guy from their practice squad.
Yeah.
They'll have to elevate him. It worked for the Cowboys. It worked for the Cowboys.
Good. Hand the ball off to Saquon every single down. Let him run you into wins.
You don't have any receivers to throw to, so this works out perfect.
We don't have a quarterback. We don't have a receiver.
Your wide receiver.
Run the ball, baby.
Your wide receiver 1 is Richie
Hey.
James. Like, good luck with that.
3
Like,
downs, a cloud of dust. Hopefully we get it first. Play
I'm
good
sure
defense.
We are going to have the
box.
Patriots last year with,
Oh my
49 handoffs and 2 throws. It's
You
going to
have
We
happen.
no
played
receiver.
terrible
Everyone's
teams
hurt.
to start the year to make us 3-1.
Yeah.
We now start to hit the tough road of our schedule.
Yeah.
The Giants are going to come back down to earth here real quick.
All
Just
you did
watch.
was screw yourself out of a top 3 pick.
What I dislike about this is that he hadn't played out of his mind, but Danny Dimes was playing well enough to say, you know what, he might be the quarterback that can handle our offense here, get him a couple of more pieces that can work, and he might be a guy. And then to get injured on basically the same injury he had before, high ankle sprain, if this is going to be constant, then unfortunately it's just not going to give
Because
him
the guy can
long-term-
run. Like, they
Right.
should be doing more, like, QB draw, QB options, stuff like that to get the guy out there and run.
Yeah.
Surprising, he looks like a big doofus, but the guy can run.
I know, but maybe that's why they don't have him run, because he clearly has injury problems with his ankles.
It's probably true.
You know who can run, though? This guy.
The 2. They fake the trap. Now Mahomes scrambling to his right, holding it, gets off the hit, now lunging forward, and now fires it late, caught at the back of the end zone. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Okay. If you had to do it right now today, you said the best quarterback in the NFL is...
Patrick Mahomes.
We wanted to go Josh Allen. Everybody wanted
I
to
did.
change it.
But looking, like, every time you start to count Patrick Mahomes out, and I think we all did coming into this season, and we all crowned Josh Allen the MVP, and rightfully so. He still looks like one of the top best players in the league.
Yeah.
But the guy is just incredible. He makes things happen. He looks good out there. He's another one that has nobody.
They were bringing it up last night. They were talking about it. He's got Valdez-Scantling, who was a cast-off. He's got Juju Smith-Schuster that no one else wanted to sign. He's got, you know what I'm saying? He's playing with an older Travis Kelce, still a nice player. Don't get me wrong. He had some nice gains last night, great catches. He also had some drops last night that normally in the past you would have expected him to make.
Right.
And still Mahomes was able to go out, put up gaudy numbers, 3 touchdowns, went into Tampa against Tom Brady where he lost the Super Bowl.
That's why.
And the whole week, that's all they heard. And again, he starts the season. Now people don't think you're the number 1 quarterback. Then he goes and he has to match up
He
against
did
these
get
guys.
very fortunate for 2 turnovers that led to touchdowns, which they're fluke turnovers. They're not.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If you drop a kickoff like the very opening
course.
drive, like, come on, it's a fluke. That's not going to happen every single week. So he did get fortunate. They still got 30-something points put up against them. So there's a real big issue on that Chiefs defense.
There is.
However, you're never out of a game when you have Patrick Mahomes.
You're
on the
not.
team.
And, Tom Brady tried to make his way back last night, too. And, the game wasn't as close as I think the final score turned out.
That game was a blowout, even though they only won by 10. That game was a blowout. The Chiefs owned that game, and they were basically in prevent defense, letting Brady do his thing at the very end.
Yeah.
And you can't knock Brady either because he got all of them back, right? He got, Evans was back after a
Yes, they
suspension.
all played last night.
Godwin was back, and he got re-injured. Russell Gage was there. So he had all of his weapons. He wasn't missing. And Julio Jones came back.
Yeah, they all were back.
So everyone was there, so you can't blame that. And I thought that they even got Rashad White involved a little bit, the rookie running back. They got him involved.
I
He
will
actually
say,
had a
though,
good
that
day.
the Chiefs did force Brady to get rid of the ball a little bit sooner than he wanted to. They had a decent pass rush last night. So that is something that, as much as we want to say the 30 points and all of that, we should also mention the fact that they still did, hurry Brady. I don't want to say they pressured him. They hurried him enough to where throws weren't quite where they needed to be. Guys couldn't get open,
I still don't think that Brady looks the same.
He doesn't. And, maybe it's a missing camp. Maybe it's his mind's everywhere else, like whatever it is.
Or maybe he's just human.
Yeah. Well, and so...
I don't accept that.
Yeah, most people won't accept that he is human.
I have to tell you, so I didn't pull the picture of this, and I should have. Another one of the great troll tweets of the weekend was Antonio Brown.
Oh my God.
Antonio Brown posted, which this guy shouldn't after his week, posted a picture from the Super Bowl of Giselle giving him a hug. After they lost, he posted that up on his Twitter. as his picture.
Why is he taking shots at Tom Brady?
Right.
Didn't Tom Brady bring him in and let him live at the house with him and stuff?
Exactly.
And he also defended him when he was going through all this mental stuff. Tom Brady defended him too. Like,
Exactly.
So why would he take
and
shots
then
at
he
Tom
posts
Brady?
that picture up.
Was
That
it shots
guy
or was he trying? Because with Antonio Brown, you never know. He's just that stupid that he might have been thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to post this picture as like I'm friends with the Bradys." Was that what he was doing, or
after
was
what he
taking
did in
shots?
the pool? I don't
No.
think so.
Oh.
You saw the
In
video,
Dubai?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to get a blur that was like covered the whole thing. So obviously, he's doing well for himself.
Yeah, he's definitely on one. And,
Did you see the video though? The video of it, like him jumping out of the pool and showing his. He's basically putting his ass in the girl's face.
And and she didn't like it, and then complained, and
But
they ended up comping her room and her stay.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that guy, but yeah, he put that tweet out. And I thought it was ridiculous. So unfortunately, guys, it's time for Jay's fantasy roundup. We're going to talk about your fantasy teams. I had an interesting week in fantasy. So before you get started, Jay, I had Amari Cooper get me 1.9 points in one of my leagues, in a league that I'm down 10 points going in with just the Niners defense to go. I'm down 10 points, so I probably lost that game.
No, what's great about that is that right when the game starts, you're going to get those 10 points because the way they work defenses is you get 10 points because it's a shutout.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you'll be winning.
You'll
course.
be winning, and,
Yeah.
and then you'll see your score go down as the other team scores. So that is pretty interesting. But it was Amari Cooper actually screwed me in FanDuel, so I'm glad you brought that up. How do you catch one pass against the Atlanta Falcons? 1 for 9. Like literally?
When he had one wiped off, that was a catch that was a holding, right? So that was a big one. And I also had Brown, right? A.J. Brown for the Eagles.
Okay.
And he lost a touchdown
He
on
did.
a ghost pick that really was not a pick.
Yeah, they called on Goddard.
They called on Goddard. That didn't exist. And he loses a touchdown.
Instead, Hurts runs it
Instead,
in.
Hurts runs it in. And those two things didn't help me in my fantasy week. But anyways.
We talked about injuries a little bit, so I'll just run through really quick. Obviously, we talked about Javonte Williams, Daniel Jones. Now, Jonathan Taylor did get injured in that game against Tennessee. He hasn't looked the same, but I don't chalk it up to Jonathan Taylor. I kind of chalk it up to his offensive line, and the team just isn't playing that good. And when everybody counted them out, what did they do? They came back and beat the Chiefs in week 3, right? So I think they're going to be one of those teams that every week is up and down, but they have to know where their bread and butter is, and that's Jonathan Taylor. So supposedly he's going to play, and they have a short week, which is kind of weird to me, that they've already said that he's going to play. That he plays on Thursday night football, and they've already cleared him, said, yeah, he's going to be there, which I don't know. You have to start him because he's a stud, and you start your studs, but I just wouldn't expect a huge put out by
My thought is
Jonathan
almost,
Taylor.
are they masking that he's actually, and then get a game plan for Jonathan Taylor and then not use him very much?
I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's very weird. Cordell Patterson's another guy that got hurt. His knee's a little bit banged up. He was questionable coming into the game. He's going to be out for the next 4 weeks. So they actually put him on IR. Treylon Burks, diagnosed with turf toe.
Yep.
It just gets worse and worse because the guy looks like he's got a lot of talent, but it just now he's gonna be that guy that gets hit with the injury bug all the time. It was asthma and he was out of shape. Now it's turf toe. Who knows how long that will last? Jamison Crowder for the Buffalo Bills, broken ankle.
Yep.
Now you were already starting Isaiah McKenzie in a lot of formats, but they were splitting time in the slot. So now McKenzie's going to be the guy in the slot for Buffalo, and then Jahan Dotson. He's out 1 to 2 weeks. He got injured for the Commanders.
He had a good game too.
He's had a good season so
looked
far.
great.
He's a rookie, another rookie receiver.
He's a leader for rookie of the
Yes,
year.
and he's going to miss the next couple of weeks. So that brings us to waivers. Waivers-wise, now in no particular order, guys that you want to look at, there's obviously deep leagues because a lot of these backups are already owned. Like you saw Javonte Williams go down. Melvin Gordon is probably owned in every league. So you want to go out and get guys like Mike Boone. Gordon's in the doghouse. Like he fumbled twice. He just completely imploded
Has he fumbled
yesterday.
every game?
Every game he's fumbled. So you know they're not happy with him, but on his side, he's probably not happy with the coaching staff they have there. So they both have a
Well, and
gripe.
you know how Melvin Gordon acts when as soon as he doesn't think that something's
Correct.
good for him, he just doesn't care.
So Mike Boone is a guy you want to look at because they will use him in the passing game and the running game alike.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco, again, this dude, every time he gets a chance and they give him the ball, the dude just produces. Like he had 11 carries for 64 yards, I think, last night. And he looks like it's just lightning in a bottle. Like whenever they give him the ball, the dude is just like...
He looks like he's running for a job.
Yes.
Like he wants to show, like he's like on a 1 year
Yes.
deal, and he looks like he's running so damn hard. I'm like, I would be afraid to tackle that guy. He's running hard, right?
And he's not a big guy,
No,
but he looks like he wants it.
hard.
He wants it.
That low center of gravity sometimes is
Dude,
that guy that
watching him
He's
last
so
night, I was
fast.
impressed.
And then he has Tyreek Hill's number too, so he looks like he's Tyreek Hill running around. There's like a little small guy that's like super fast. Isaiah McKenzie, we just mentioned a minute ago. Tyler Algier from the Atlanta Falcons. With Patterson being out, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a timeshare with Huntley and Algier, but I like the rookie a little bit more. Receiver-wise, George Pickens, a guy you just showed in the highlight with Kenny Pickett. I think they're going to have a good rapport. Especially if it's Kenny Pickett going forward, they're going to have a good rapport with Pickens and him.
And I think he becomes the number one target with Pickett.
Yeah, I think that Claypool is going to be the odd man out. It's going to be some form of Pickens and Deontay Johnson. I think Claypool is the guy that's going to odd man out. So if you have somebody in your league that likes Claypool and you own him, try to sell him now.
Make that deal
before he takes over. And then Zay Jones for Jacksonville. He continues to just get targets every week. It looks like it's going to be him and Kirk are the number 1 and 2 guys in Jacksonville. Only if you're in a super flex. This is nothing about one quarterback league, but super flex. Look to see if Bailey Zappi's out there. Look to see if someone didn't pick up Kenny Pickett or they dropped him or try to trade for him. And then Davis Webb, obviously, he's a good stash in case he does start.
Do you think
only in super flex?
Do you think? And I waited till this for you to mention that.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe Desmond Ridder is probably time for guys to start looking at picking him up too? And the reason I say that is because the Falcons made a move. Mariota's third interception on Sunday. Yeah. After that, they ran the ball 14 consecutive times, including on a scoring drive, and did not let him throw the ball again. Are they losing patience there, do you think? Do you think it's about time that he might have an opportunity to see the field?
He's definitely going to get on the field soon, but I don't think that they're losing their patience with him because I think they're playing better than they thought they would. So, yes, is Mariota your answer? Absolutely not. Right. But why not get Ridder just some valuable time to learn the game instead of pushing him in like you're trying to win? Like you're not trying to win. He says
this now after he collects my $20.
Of course, because he was right.
Unbelievable.
But Ridder will be on the field soon. But it's not like the Falcons are growing.
Well, what's funny is
let's get back. When is Tomlin going to get fired? That asshole cost me $20. He came out at the beginning of the year. Oh, I'm not going to play Pickett at all.
I will not play him this year.
I will not play him. And 4 weeks in, the guy's running out. I saw it. I was watching the game live, and I instantly went like this. Turned it off.
We talked about
you got to be kidding me.
We talked about it because of the fact that at halftime, we mentioned this while you weren't here, but at halftime, Tomlin went up to Trubisky and just said 8 is in and walked off.
That's all he gave him.
That's all he gave him. So we'll hear more about this. And talking about things that people don't like, let's talk about this. The Seattle Kraken announced that they have a brand new mascot named Bowie. Not a Kraken. One of the coolest possible opportunities to just really own it. And the hockey world is on fire with this troll that apparently lives under the ice. This is their story. They wanted to be more kid-friendly. This is what they came up with after 2 years of a drawing board.
What are you doing, Seattle? What are you doing?
Bowie.
It does not surprise me.
Seattle never surprises me.
Seattle
never surprises me.
Never.
So everybody's trolling them. They're getting crushed for it, including they're getting crushed with this. It looks like apparently a troll from a Disney production that's out there, that kind of like one of the off characters, almost to a T. So Seattle Kraken, you failed, but one of the best mascots in the in the NHL had something to say about it. And Gritty from the Flyers, I found your mascot at NHL Seattle with the dang, I wasn't even close. So congratulations to the Flyers. You have an incredible mascot. I'm still not going to give him better than chance, but damn it, he's really close. Gritty was great, and the Kraken, you guys failed that miserably.
So bad.
Yeah, you dropped the ball on that one.
Someone who's not failing up in Seattle, since we're talking about that, is the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, walk-off double, launched them into the postseason, and with that, took the longest postseason stint.
No, wasn't it a home run?
No, I thought it was a double.
No.
This was a walk-off double.
Yeah, well, because I had over a run and a half, so it wasn't a home run.
It was a double. It was a walk-off double.
Against the A's. Right?
Walk-off double.
You're welcome.
And that was the last team I needed for my 4-leg parlay of -1.5, and of course he hits a double to not give me the 2 runs.
He does. Launched them into the postseason. They're in the postseason. And the postseason now looks like this. This is pretty much how it's going to look.
Yeah,
the Braves
look at this.
went and swept the Mets in a 3-game series.
Huge
to take
series,
a lead.
too.
Yeah,
Beat
so
DeGrom and Scherzer.
there's 3 games left, but, I mean, you pretty much are going to guess this is how it's going to end up looking. So what you have is you have the Braves and the Dodgers will be the division winners in the National League, the Yankees and the Astros in the American League. Series that I'm really interested in, the Tampa-Cleveland series, I feel like that just is like, it's a neat series. It's great for baseball. Nobody's turning the TV on for it, unfortunately.
Well, I
However,
Cleveland wins because I want to smash them so I can talk crap to Bob.
so we will see what happens with that. The exciting part of that, obviously, Wander Franco. But the other side of the ticket, the Mariners Blue Jays is going to have all eyes on it. Vladimir Guerrero going up against Julio and the whole narrative of all that. That's all you're going to hear talked about from the AL side. The NL side, the Phillies are a game from locking their playoff position over the Brewers. They need 1 loss by the Brewers or 1 win. Either way, they are locking down the final wild card in the NL. The Padres have locked it down. That is done. They won theirs last night, so the Padres
Without
are in.
Tatis, huh?
Without Tatis. But you do have to imagine they went and got Soto. And they're starting to get on cylinders. They're a team, to me, I don't know if the Mets like being matched up against the Padres here. They got a really good pitching staff, though, and the Mets should feel really good about that. Padres pitching is so-so, and we'll see what happens. I'm rooting, obviously, as a Padres fan, for that to be a Dodgers-Padres series, although the Padres have not fared well against LA this year. But for baseball, it needs to be Mets-Dodgers, and I would not be upset as a Padres fan if that is the case, just because I'd love to see that matchup. I think that's neat. On the other side, I love the Bryce Harper and Bryson Stott narrative, the Las Vegas kids getting to the playoffs, and Bryce coming back and really kind of helping that team out get to the playoffs. But man, how do you not want the Cardinals in this? Yadier Molina, Pujols at the end. Wainwright. So this matchup here, that 3-6 matchup, that's really a really interesting series. And whoever moves on gets to go play the Braves. And the Braves pitch lights out. Spencer Strider is a real number 1.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's looking forward to going to play either of those 2 teams.
No,
the
not
Dodgers
at all.
Or the Braves.
No.
If you're winning that series, you're not looking forward to the next one.
No,
I can't wait to see the Houston Yankees.
And
series.
Acuna hasn't played
series.
well. That's the thing. The last 3.5 weeks to a month, Acuna has not played well. So imagine that with the time off, if he kind of fixes a little bit of some of the issues he has and comes out and plays well, that team was really good run last year, and they're scary this year. We will see what happens with it. That's fairly interesting. Now, I want to get into plus or minus real quick.
Oh, you don't want to talk about what game Judge is going to hit the home run in?
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
It's going to happen this weekend in Texas. It'll happen.
But he's got today 1 game, and tomorrow's a doubleheader.
Yes.
And sometimes guys don't play both games of the doubleheader.
You want to see Boone get carried out in a stretcher?
Yeah.
If he does not play him the second game of that doubleheader, the fans will come and destroy him.
I want to see
if he does not
They
get
will.
a chance.
Oh
God!
So he will probably DH. Is probably what will happen. Is he'll probably DH 1 or if not both of those games.
That's weak.
He's
which is
been
kind of what
DHing.
the thought is. Judge, though, we're talking about that. Now that he's hit 61, tied Maris family said that they only recognize him as the home run leader. They don't believe that Barry Bonds is the home run leader and all this stuff and everything. That whole narrative and stuff. I want to kind of talk about what this has done for the Judge market. And what's really interesting is everybody now is trying to buy Judge. But he's the American League home run winner. Like American League champion, leader, hits 62. He'll be alone by himself. He's a Yankee. He's collectible. He's desirable. And my thought is, if you weren't buying him at the All-Star break, you probably missed your chance.
Why are you buying him now?
Right?
Yeah.
But guys are going out and they're doing that. And what you're doing is you're putting yourself into a bad position on it because you have some cards in the market that I think are actually overpriced. There's some big cards in the market. And what was interesting is we were at the show this weekend and I filmed a little segment and caught a dealer at the show that actually had these 3 Judge rookies in his case. The blue for $20,000, the white for $15,000, and the silver for $7,500. And I'm just going to tell you now, I just don't see that particular card being those type of values long term. Feels to me like if you got into them 2 years ago and you had a nice upside, I just don't know if they're going to sell at that price point. To me, that's looks nice in the case, and I don't know if they'll actually sell at that point. But some of the stuff is kind of going a little crazy. That's kind of what you expect, that immediate reaction. But my suggestion to you guys is, look, if you want to get a nice Aaron Judge because you just think it's going to be a nice card, that's great. I actually think that if you are going to invest into Aaron Judge, you might want to see what happens in the offseason. You might want to wait, because if he's not a Yankee, you are going to see a dump off. You will see a dump off in the market of Aaron Judge stuff.
Especially if he goes somewhere that's not as favorable.
Yeah. Goes to the Mets, that could play a little bit, but the Mets collector base is still not what the Yankees fan collector base is in the sports card hobby.
Right.
And so I just caution you a little bit. If you want something for your PC that's nice, you want to pick something up that's great, but I don't think it's a great investment time for him.
You definitely need to be waiting. This is the Pete Alonso trend all over again. When Pete Alonso got hot, won the MVP, he was hitting home runs like crazy. His cards absolutely spiked, and not only at that time, the market was really good, so people were paying 10, 12x what the Pete Alonsos did the year before.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that right now with the Aaron Judge market. Wait and see. There's no rush to go out and get it right now, because guess what? These prices right now will be, if he's the same player, will be the same price next year, or even probably a little bit less, because there'll be less fanfare around the 62 home runs. Do not waste your money on buying Judge. I, who am a big Yankee fan and a huge Aaron Judge fan, am selling. Exactly. Everybody was surprised when I went and pulled out all my PC Aaron Judges. They're like, what are you doing? You're selling it? I'm like, yeah, I bought this card for less than $2,000. I just got a $6,000 offer on eBay. Of course I'm selling this
It's never
card.
going to go for higher.
Of course.
It's like,
I would love to keep this card forever, but it's never going to get higher than
Right.
$6,000 in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of it. I'm taking that money, reinvesting it in other stuff. Like, it's zero time.
And it becomes that, what have you done for me lately? We talk about this a lot in this portion of the program. We have this conversation. And I want to talk a little bit about the 22 rookie class, because right now, guys are freaking out today. They're going on. Everybody's snatching anything up that's available on eBay, of Zappy, of Pickett, even some of the receivers, Olave, Pickens. Those guys are starting to get snatched quickly. The movement's starting to happen, which I think that's great for the hobby as far as from the product standpoint. But from an investment standpoint, while everyone else is out dumping their money into this really unknown pool, I think there's a guy you should be looking at, and it's not the guy that you would think I would be talking about right now, and it actually is Joe Burrow. That while you have had an opportunity to actually see Joe Burrow be sustained, and the upper market is telling you this, the same style RPA that just sold for 1.8 for Herbie just sold for 1.7 for Burrow. Just closed. And that's going to tell you that his market is expected to hold. And right now, guys are willing to take a little bit less on their Burrows to run out and buy some of the other stuff, including Hurts, including some of these guys that they took the hobby by storm. They surprised them, not us.
Right.
The Davis Mills guys that are out buying Davis Mills now that didn't buy him, 6 months ago when they should have. Now they're out buying those guys, and they're dumping off some of their Joe Burrows. And I think this is an opportunity for you to go out and find some deals on Burrow. So you want to go out, look for those Prism Silvers. Look for those autos that have high grades. Look for those high grade cards that are auto and cards graded 10s and not 10 9s or 10 9 5s or whatever, but actually finding those. Those are going to be your opportunity to buy right now, where we could see, look, they won this week. They went on and roll off 4 or 5 more wins, and then you have some of the shininess rub off of some of these new guys and excitement about them. Maybe a little stumble. I don't think it'll happen with Hurts. I think he's playing really well. Mm-hmm. But if he stumbles a little bit a couple of places, this might be an opportunity. Herbie has leaped him. And we know the Herbert market, people are in on Herbert. Yeah. Burrow had kind of fallen back a little bit, given some room. And man, the other guy I just want to mention, we talked about it before. Guys, if you haven't put a Mahomes rookie in your PC, you better do it, because I don't think by the end of this year you're going to be able to afford to.
And that's the type of guy that you need to jump on while you can. And you might be able to in the future buy as market trends go up and down, as this is, like we said, the stock market, and some weeks it's going to be hot, some weeks it's going to be down. And yeah, you might be able to jump in on that trend and buy Mahomes, but guess what? His cards are not going to go down.
They're not.
They're never going to go down. He's going to consistently be on an uptick for the rest of his career. And then even after he retires and he has his 3 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs and whatever else he has, buy his cards, hold on to them, put them away, write your kid's name on it, put it in a safe, because you cannot go wrong with buying them.
No matter what his wife or brother does, his cards are not going to go down.
And the
as
thing
much as they're
is,
trying to
exactly,
make it go down.
They're definitely trying. But we mentioned this to you guys because sometimes when we start thinking about investments, there's stuff that you can do quick, that you can flip quick. Sure. If you can go out and grab a Bailey Zappi Auto, there were some that were on eBay last night. They're not there today because I looked.
They're not
right?
there today.
They were there last night. They're not there today. As soon as he came in the game, I was on stream and I was actually looking, and guys either pulled them or they disappeared real quick.
He was 66%, by the way, completion percentage. Like, I know he didn't light the world on fire. Yeah. He only completed like 10 or 12 passes, but 66% completed pass rate on
I think he's. We'll see. We'll see with him. I don't know what's going to happen there. Guys, we mentioned the stuff that's going on with Las Vegas Card Show this weekend. Please make sure you guys come out. We got 2 trade nights and all that. But next week, we get to go to San Diego. We're excited about it. We will be
at the beach in San Diego.
We'll be at Del Mar. We'll be at Del Mar, and on Friday the 15th, 7 p.m. at the Hilton there in Del Mar. We'll be hosting trade night. Giveaways all powered by Drip, and our buddy DJ Spins is going to be rocking the music for us. Local collector in the scene as well as DJ, so it's kind of fun to see him. So he will be out with us. So make sure you guys plan for that. And then, of course, as I mentioned to you guys, we do have the 2 trade nights this week, both Thursday and Friday night. Thursday night, Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue on the Las Vegas Strip, just about a 3/4 of a mile from the World Market Center. And then Friday night at the actual venue at the World Market Center at the Expo. Next door, 16 floors up. We will be inside and outside having a great time. So lots of trade nights, lots of events to populate to and come hang out. And again, shout out to our friends at Ludex. We're excited for this week. So we got 2 weeks of shows. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming into the shop, opportunities to go do some fun things, and we'll also have a bunch of content. And if you haven't checked it out, guys, go to TikTok, go to our TikTok. You got to see our most recent TikTok. It's probably one of the more epic ones. I'll just say that.
We have fun here again.
We have fun. That's a good way to put it. So,
I might get sued one day by one of my employees. But we have fun.
So much fun. So guys, come see us at the shows. Come see us at the shop. And if you're in town for the Industry Summit, come by, say hello. Godfather will be in the building Wednesday afternoon for you guys to come by. Say hi to Jimmy. In fact, I'm going to put it out there. If someone can come here and outdrive Jimmy, we'll toss him something free. If you can come and outdrive Jimmy on the simulator, he's going to have to get warmed up. He will. We'll toss something your way for beating Jimmy in a long drive.